Hello? So ayun, nagkaroon ng technical difficulty. Medyo hindi stable yung ating internet, kaya na-disconnect po tayo. Kaya naputol po yung ating discussion earlier. Now I'm back. I hope that the connection will be okay. Ito talaga yung naging problem ko recently lang because of the problem with my internet service provider. Yan, problem sa connection, kaya there are mga difficulties in trying to complete or to finish the class because of this technical difficulty or the internet problem. Well, anyway, so let's go back to our discussion. So earlier we solved the first equation, the first problem, in which we are given two equations, two unknowns, using Cramer's rule. Just a review of what we did earlier. And of course, we learned about these formula in obtaining for the value of the variables or the unknowns. Now, okay, so what we did, so we formed the coefficient matrix, and the coefficient matrix will be used to obtain the determinant D. Okay, so here, i-highlight lang natin. And after we obtain letter D, or the determinant D, we solve for the determinant X, or dx, by replacing, since yung first column natin, yun yung coefficient ni X, papalitan natin siya ng vector of constants, yung 0, 1 kanina. So that's why our matrix here will be 0, negative 1, 1, 0. Ganun din dun sa pag-solve naman ng determinant y natin. I-copy lang natin yung first column since ito yung coefficient ni x. And i-replace natin yung second column by the vector of constants, which is 0, 1. So ito naman sa second column, nagkaroon ka ng 0, 1 dyan. Okay, so after we solve for the determinant x and determinant y, we can solve for x here by dividing this determinant x by d. And then to solve for y, by dividing this by the determinant. So kaya nagkaroon tayo ng result ng ito. So x is equal to 1 and y is equal to 2. Now for example number 2, we have 3 equations and 3 unknowns. X, y, z are the unknowns. Now we are to solve this systems of linear equation using Cramer's rule. Okay, so first is we are to write our coefficient matrix, and we can only do that or form that, okay, looking at the coefficients of these equations. Tandaan, dapat yung first term mo, consistent siya. For example, sa first equation, x. Dapat yung second equation mo, the first term should be x din. So x, x, x. For the second term, lahat ay y. Sa third term, lahat ay z. Now, we copy the coefficients to form the coefficient matrix. And this coefficient matrix will be used to determine or obtain our determinant D. So 2, 3, 2 is the first column. Ito yung coefficient ni x. Kuha na ako ng ballpen. Wait lang, guys. Here we go. Tandaan na, so yung first column natin, yun yung coefficient ni x. And then yung second column natin is yung coefficients ni y. And the third column will be the coefficients of z. And this matrix here, yung elements na to, array of elements, ayan, square matrix ito, and can be obtained by utilizing the coefficients of these unknowns. 2, 3, 2, 1, negative 1, 3, negative 1, 1, 1. Now, okay, mamaya papakita ko na pag-solve itong determinant. So, para naman dun sa determinant x, okay, tandaan na this will be utilized. Magagamit natin tong vector of constants. Sa paanong paraan, sir? Ayan. Since, di ba, yung x natin is nasa first term at yung coefficients niyan ay makikita sa first column. Okay? Now, to solve for determinant x, i-replace natin itong first column nitong vector of constants. So instead of writing 2, 3, 2, we write 1, 4, 3. And then copy the remaining elements. So we have 1, negative 1, 3, negative 1, 1, 1. So ito na yung ating vector of constants. Now for our determinant y. Determinant y naman can be formed by replacing yung second column natin, yung coefficients ni y, di ba? So copy lang natin yung first column, 2, 3, 2. Replace natin yung 1, negative 1, 3 by these vector of constants, 1, 4, 3. Ito na ngayon yun. Kasi we are to solve for y. Sa first natin na determinant, we are to solve for x here. And then copy natin yung third column. So negative 1, 1, 1. Since we have 3 unknowns here, the last one is z. So we can form d and determinant z, which is yung first and second column, yung coefficients ni x and y. So copy lang natin. 2, 3, 2. 1, negative 1, 3. And then, since yung third column natin, yun yung coefficients ni z. So to solve for determinant z, replace that by a vector of constants. So 1, 4, 3 will be the last column. And now, proceed with finding for that number or scalar value. And afterwards, yung formula natin, we are to move. Okay, clear ko muna. Again. X can be determined by, of course, dx over d. Ayan, y will be equal to determinant y over d. And z is equal to determinant z over d. So, ganun lang. Madali lang actually yung Cramer's rule. Now, if you have any questions, yeah, you can message me and yeah, maybe I can be able to answer your clarifications or questions. Okay, let me just browse to the equations here. So ito, we were able to obtain negative 20. Ayan, so katulad ng pinakita ko kanina, since we are solving for, ito nirekta na niya kasi. Yan, so x can be determined by dividing the determinant na nakuha natin. Diba? Again, negative 20 yung determinant, d. Tapos we'll solve for determinant x. And this will be equal to negative 20 as well. So, ayan, since d is equal to negative 20, so yeah, x is equal to negative 20 over negative 20, you have 1. Okay na tayo dyan. Let's proceed to the next one, solving for y. So first is determine or obtain natin yung determinant y. Yun lang. So 2 times 4 times 1 plus extend lang natin tong first two columns na to. Somehow parang i-augment natin. Ganun yung idea. So same lang din sa unang kanina. So 2, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3. Ganun lang yung pag-deal with this determinant. So 2 times 4 times 1 yung first term natin, 1 times 1 times 2, second term, negative 1 times 3 times 3. Ito yun. Tapos yung pataas naman will be subtract. 1 times 4 times negative 1 and negative. So minus 1 times 3, 3 times 1 times 2. Ito yun. And then 1 times 3 times 1. Okay, so the value of the determinant y is 0. So 0 divided by any number is equal to 0. That's why y is equal to 0. And ito din kanina, yung last column kasi is the coefficient of z, diba? So we replace that by the vector of constants. So, madali lang din naman siya at kayang-kaya niyo 'to. Okay, good luck to my students in advanced engineering mathematics. I know you can do it. And see you tomorrow for our class. Bye-bye.